I'm doing the update on the barndominium project. I wanted to say hello preppers and prepper studders. Let's get started on this. So of course the fans just kicked on the inverter, but I'll show you what I've done in here so far. As you can see, sorry, there's a little bit mess on the floor down below. But as you can see, the back corner by the inverter, I had scrap drywall laying around here, found it on the property, it was in the garage. I ended up, some of it got submerged in water, some of it was all broken, the edges. I was able to amputate pieces, good pieces out of it, got that corner done, and I'll show you really quick. It's kind of hard to tell, but you can see it's a good amount of space that's all drywalled here. So this area I wanted drywall because got the batteries here, they're against metal, so if for some reason they were to cook off, they're on cement, metal, it'll slow them down a bit. I'm gonna put my 18 volt and 80 volt rechargeable tools. I'm gonna hang them here so I can charge them. I'm gonna build some pads out of cement board and put them on there. This it makes no sense because I've got fire resistant and then I've got cedar pine. That's probably would ignite in a minute, but I went to the local mill. They didn't have a lot of stuff in stock, but they had some cedar boards that were discounted a little bit because they hadn't gone through to get tongue and groove yet. But they're really nice boards. They kind of got the rough cut saw, smell really good. I'm thinking about putting some coat hangers here so I can hang some additional clothing, barn coat, things like that, hang it in here. And then all I need to do is I've got a trim piece of some rough cut live edge I'm going to put across the top. I've got a temporary extension cord. I got a super deal on 12 gauge extension cord. I can't believe how good of a price it was. I'm going to go back and probably buy more because it's hard to find 12 gauge anything. But what I'm planning on doing is running another board here with the live edge, and then I'm going to run actual 12 gauge to the outlet over there, and I'm going to put an outlet down here, an outlet or two down here, up high though, because I'm just going to use it to plug in some chargers. And then for the light, I bought a socket that has 2 outlets into the socket. I'm going to add 2 fluorescent shop lights in here just to brighten it up a bit. And then on this side, just going to put storage. It's going to be all storage. Then on this side, I've kind of determined that side, the pine boards, everything like that, it just took me a long time. I'm just going to go buy some drywall. It's literally the cheapest, and I'm just going to drywall this whole section. And then on this side right here, all the way down to here, I'm going to build wooden shelves. I have tons and tons of 2x6s from that loft that was in there. I'm going to build shelves out of that and then get this space finished. I don't need it to look the greatest. I just want it to be functional. This is going to be where I'm going to store all my surplus, is in here. I just have a lot of it right now, and I want to get this in here so I can get out of the house. I've got tons of surplus sitting in the house, and Jenny's getting kind of upset because, you know, anybody knows surplus, especially if it's the older stuff, it's got that surplusy, that smell. And she just, I get it. We don't want it in the house. I've got boxes in there because a lot of the surplus I sell is also newer stuff. And I've got like the medical, like anything that's kind of nice is stored in the house. All the old stuff is in a trailer, an enclosed trailer stored in like 100-degree weather. So it is what it is. Right now it's in the 70s in here, like 30% humidity. It's perfect conditions for storing that stuff in here. And it's pretty tall ceiling in here, so I can go pretty high. And the good thing too, since we sealed this in here, I've sprayed the same bug spray we use around the perimeter of the other buildings. I perimeter sprayed this building. I put mouse traps in here because I have caught mice in here before when the building really wasn't that sealed. The temperature's staying great in here. I've got mouse traps everywhere. Haven't caught one mouse, and I really haven't seen any bugs in here. Now the shop on the other end, I can't really seal those doors that good. It's insulated in there, but it's not conditioned. I just have the insulation in there, but it's not conditioned. There's some crazy spiders that are living in there. So over here now, if you watched the last episode of the barndominium, had that mini split there. That was a little bit of a fiasco. So searching on the internet, everybody's like, oh, those lines are pressurized. You got to do, you know, you need a vacuum pump, all this stuff. Contacted a few different heating, cooling people. They kind of told me the same thing, that there's not enough refrigerant in there. You could probably just, you know, open it up and just release it. I ended up calling a company that did the other mini split to come out here. And when they came here, they were joking because they're like, well, you want the bad news or the, because I was going to actually move it to that space that we just came out of and just have it as a backup mini split. And then they were like, well, it has no coolant in it. So you could have just disconnected it. It must have leaked out. The flares must have been bad, something. I was talking to Jenny. We're just like, just disconnect it completely. And then, because with this big mini split we have in here, we're kind of at our limit solar size. Like we have 4 mini splits running right now. Even if I put a small, you know, I just really don't need it. The temperature in this space, it's not much of a difference. It's maybe a couple degrees now. I keep this door open. It's just, it's conditioned in there now. I mean, it's comfortable in there. With the fan on the batteries, it's helping because I didn't realize, I just didn't think about it. The inverter generates a lot of heat. Like it's like in the 100-degree temperature and it's blowing out its fans like hot air all the time. So that space, I should have never had the temperature gauge sitting right next to it because it really wasn't an accurate representation of that space. Because the other day I went in there and I'm like, wow, it's really comfortable in here. The temperature gauge was telling me it was 86 degrees. So that's the temperature of the actual unit. People leave those inverters outside in 100-degree weather. I'm actually much better off the way I have it set up in there. So now this hot mess over here, cleaned up this. I needed to re-vacuum it though. I put a mask and gloves and I swept it with the dustpan, got all the junk out of there, but I got to vacuum it. There's still, sadly, mouse crap everywhere. I got to spray it with some bleach solution. And then, I don't know what they were thinking, but these 2x4s here were shaved down an inch. So I need to get a table saw sooner than later. I don't have one. And I need to rip down some furring strips that are 1 inch and put them onto there. Because like I said, I don't want to have to redo that. It would be much quicker for me to do that. I need a table saw anyways. I'll get a lot of use out of it. Yeah, so I got to get that on the list. Okay, so now this space. This loft, I'm going to start taking it back. And like I said, it's going to go to about here. There's going to be a little closet here, temporary, and then this wall, when we rip it out, it's going to end up, that'll be the new wall there. So this is still a little bit of a mess. I don't know if I mentioned, I took a thermal camera through here and really nothing was really leaking. A couple little gaps around some of the doors. I spray foamed some of those. I didn't do the front door here because I want to replace this door with a door with a window. And I got to figure out what I'm going to do around this goofy door frame. And then I need to build something to hide the electric panel, the water. I got to replace this spigot, not spigot, but the shutoff valve. It cracked before, and then that'll probably be it for a while, because then I've priced paneling for the walls. We want to do some kind of like 8-inch rough cut pine for the walls, and I'm just going to leave the ceiling. So it's going to be a little pricey to do the walls, but we don't need to do it right away, but figure run the water lines, make sure there's no electrical things that I wanted to do, and then we'll put up the walls and leave the ceiling. Hello, preppersteaders, homesteaders, and everybody else who watches this channel. I'm just going to go over what's going on. The weather, it has finally cooled off, so I have been doing a lot of work outside, and as you can see, the garden is doing good. We've got some tomatoes, we've been some peppers down there. We've been eating a lot of cucumbers. That's one thing that's been plentiful. We've also got more of these stock tanks because we're going to move them over on that other end down there by those rain barrels and that the little porch on the building over there. We're going to put them over there. But I want to show you the progress in the building. I've been doing that. Sorry, I'm carrying a bunch of stuff. Doing a lot of cleaning. So I finally cleaned out my truck. I'm going to be doing a video on the truck because I've got a new first aid kit installed in there. I've got a new iPad/phone mount that I'm putting in there. I ordered so I could use the GPS function and new tires on it. And like I said, I had my air pump in there, a lot of little things. It's one of those things, everybody who's been watching the show long enough knows that I really want a Bronco or a Grenadier, but the reality is my truck will go 99% anywhere that a stock Bronco will go. Granted, the higher trim levels with the locking differentials and things like that have a little bit of an advantage, but realistically, the forestry service guys and the park service people, they just have regular pickup trucks like that with four-wheel drive. Not much else. Let's go inside here. So the good thing is mini splits, nothing's running. So we're using hardly any power, which is nice. The fan may be running on the mini split, but so I've still got a bunch of insulation that I had to move out of the other area. I got a table saw off of eBay Marketplace. So the biggest thing that I finished was the storage/power room. And as you can see behind me, the walls are covered. And I did a combination of OSB, pine, cedar, and I'll show you right now. So right now, pardon the mess, still in the middle of cleaning, but big difference in here. So I did the power room. I wanted to do a little nicer because it's, the power room. But I did some really nice cedar boards, and then towards the top I did a live edge. Hid most of the wiring. I got to do some little work down here. I added an outlet up there so I can plug in my power station for all my electrical tools and charge batteries. And then I've been keeping all the tools over here. And then on this wall, I've got things hanging up that, electric tools. I've got the Ryobi tools, the Greenworks, and then you can kind of see that live edge up there. I had a lot of that fresh, what do they call it, first cuts. And then the walls in here, I just did that 1/4-inch plywood that I had a lot of, and just use that. I mean, nothing super fancy in here. Like I said, I'll show it from down here, pretty nice. I got to just pick up down here. I got a vacuum and some other things. Just general cleaning up in here. A lot of just little cleaning. The walls in here I had to scrape because if you look, I'll get really close, you can still see spray foam BBs like right here. The good thing is they come off really easy, but I need a piece of plastic, a scraper that's just this width. And I got a lot of them in here. So part of them I really don't care about. I mean, it does come off, but am I gonna, if you look at the walls, it's almost like a textured wall in here. I got all the big stuff off. So even by that big frame up there, I trimmed all the foam just to make it look a little bit better. But if you look up there, there's lots of spray foam in here. But the next area that I got this half done, and this area I did all 1/2-inch OSB because it was literally like $2 more expensive than drywall. And the nice thing about this stuff is I can put, like which I did here, I can put hooks into it and hang stuff. This is going to be literally my surplus storage. So I've got a big Hardig case down here, and then a big 6-foot shelf, 6-foot length shelf, and I can store a lot of stuff up on top of here. And I have had, I'll show you right now, go down underneath here. If you see down there, I got a mouse trap. I've got a mouse trap on this end and a mouse trap on the other end. And I've had mouse traps in here for a couple months and nothing has triggered them, so that's a good sign. The building's pretty tight, haven't had any critters. I'm gonna get into the light over here. There we go. And nothing has triggered them, so I feel pretty good about storing stuff in here. As you can see, I've got, you know, some packs over here, sniper drag bag back there, extra, you know, poncho liners, body armor, whatever, just totes. I still got to fill this all up. I've got a lot of stuff. Towards the bottom there, you got an ammo can. I have it there for size reference because underneath here, I'm going to fill it with ammo cans to store them. They slide under there perfectly. And then I've got a lot of cleaning to do. And as you can see, right down here, I'm going to start working on this. I've got my super clean. I'm going to do these door sills. It's literally just a combination of just crud, dirt. Nobody's cleaned these things for a long time. I'm going to start cleaning those. Okay, if you can see down here, so the super clean worked really good. You can see back here, it just took off all the crud. Now this right here, you know what, it's spray foam. I can feel it. I gotta scrape that off. The super clean took some of it off, which is pretty impressive because that spray foam does not want to come off. But I need to get something to scrape that. And unfortunately, there's textured grooves in here, so it's going to be really hard to clean this. But as you can see, like all the crud came off, and the door itself had a stain on the bottom, that came right off. So I'm going to clean the whole door with the super clean. And then I'm going to do this one over here, which is just as bad. But as you can see, it's also got spray foam on it. I can see from here that it has spray foam on it. So it's one of those things, if you're going to do spray foam, prep the area much better than I did. I didn't know there would be this much overspray. So, I mean, it is on every door handle in here. I mean, granted, I got to clean all this. Look at that. Ooh, that's pretty gross. Let's do that. That's really gross. Let's, and if this even comes off, I'm going to be surprised because I'm literally using the dirtiest rag. Hey, look at that. So that's good. But as you can see, my rag, I literally found the cleanest dirty rag. So as you can see, just a lot of little detail work in here now. The rest of the space here is a mess, like a literal just straight up hot mess. I've got one last thing I need to do here. I'll show you right now. It's right in front of me. So this last piece of trim by the door, you can see the foam in there. I've got a 2x2 that fits in there that'll fit all the way across to the top. I did do this. I'll show you this. I used that same really cheap, what is it, 1/4-inch plywood that I have tons of. That's what the previous owners did in here. And then I put a piece of live edged wood just to hide my messy seam because I pieced together like 4 pieces of that stuff. And you know, I'm just thrifty because this isn't a Better Homes and Gardens fancy room over here. This is just going to be a storage utility room. When I get to this other section over here, I may be a little bit more detail orientated on that kind of stuff. Here's that 2x2 cedar, but unfortunately you can see the ends. They're from that pile of scrap that I got. I got to get 3 pieces to make 1 piece long enough. I have about 3 pieces that are close enough in length. The one critter I do have in here, and it ran in the other day, I've been carrying stuff in and out, tools, table saw, things like that. And when I've been doing that, the door is open for a little bit while I'm trying to get it in myself. And one of those skinks, little lizard, ran in and it took off. It's in here somewhere. I'm hoping it doesn't get killed by one of the mouse traps, but at the same time, I don't want it running around because, believe it or not, today I broke a sweat. One of those got in the house when I was loading up the boxes to bring over here, and it was horrible. I finally grabbed it and its tail fell off in my hand, and then its tail was wiggling and it took off, and luckily it climbed into a bag, and I grabbed the bag and took it outside, and then it ran away. But it apparently their tails come off, and it was just a mess. I've got a video of the tail. I don't even know if I want to show it. It was just, it was a hot mess. So this time of the year, I warned my wife. I said 2 times now in this last week, one of those things ran into this building and then ran into the main house. And I've caught them trying to run into the house. Yeah, so I'm in the process of fixing this. This is the valve that cracked in the winter. I got a new one. I got to just figure out how to get that all together. And then it goes to there, right there. I got to take that and then run that all the way across the back wall. And I'll show you right now. Probably gonna get you seasick moving around here. And there's all the hoses right here that I got to get it to. And I got to get one of those manifolds and figure out how to hide all that, because this whole loft section right here is going to be gone hopefully within a week. Just got a lot of stuff to do in here. So the good thing is, so this wall behind me, the 2x4s, the studs were ripped down shorter, and they're an inch shorter than a 2x4. So now that I've got my table saw, I'm just gonna rip boards that are 1 inch and then put them on there and screw them onto there, and not pull. I was gonna actually, I thought I had to pull this whole wall down and redo it. Now I'm just gonna put those furring strips on there and then be done with that. So if somebody does stay here, and they can at least, you know, they'll have a bed, a bathroom, a shower, hot water, a microwave, washer, dryer, you know, just the basics to be comfortable. And then cooking, you know, besides a microwave, if they want to cook, we'll cook for them in the house, you know. So it's just because we thought about putting a kitchen in here, and then with Jenny having celiacs, we don't want to just risk the whole cross-contamination and have to worry about it and tell people like, oh no, you can't cook, you know, whatever, because, you know, it's just easier to just not have a kitchen in here. Most people don't mind that we will cook them dinner when they're here. So, oh, speaking of food, there's a place, it's not even in Jasper or by me at all. It's like 20 minutes away. I wish I knew the town, but it's like Gracie's or Gricey's or something like that. Oh my gosh, they have such good breakfast. I went there the other day, I was driving by and it was busy, so I went in there, and I feel horrible because I bought my breakfast sandwich and the lady in front of me paid for mine, and I didn't realize to leave money to like pay for the next person because there's nobody else in there. So I ran outside to thank the lady, but stupid me, should have paid ahead. But I went there today with my neighbor Mark. We went there, got the biscuits and gravy. It was really good. I'm gonna head outside because it's so nice out. And I got biscuits and gravy and bacon. And then the other day, a couple days ago, we had the fair and the rodeo in town. I sold the one day. The other day we went to the parade in the morning. The parade was really nice. The Jasper parade. And then I was gonna go back and sell at the fairgrounds, and I just did not feel good. I think the heat just finally caught up to me, and I needed a break. So unfortunately I did not go back to sell there. You can hear that goat yelling, but I'm just gonna leave this at, it's so weird here because talking to some other friends that are like hardcore preppers, and some, you know, just they're talking politics, all this stuff that's going on. It's like living here, I'm just so busy with just little projects that I don't even know what's going on in the world. I mean, I need to probably pay better attention, but at the same time, it kind of falls under that same thing. I'm really only going to worry about what I'm in control of, because there's just so much I'm not in control of. And yeah, as a prepper, it's more of just a way of life now. So I'm not I'm not preparing for nuclear war or any of this, you know, things like that. I'm just preparing for tomorrow, and God willing, a long life, hopefully. And yeah, so I'm gonna leave it at that. It cooled off so quick that I've just been out of it. I normally only drink 2 coffees a day. Today was 3. I feel like I need a 4th. I'm probably gonna have a real sugar Pepsi, because it was so hot, and then it got cooled down so quick. So but the weather's, spiderweb on me. The weather's just absolutely beautiful out right now. And then I actually met another neighbor down end of the road, closer towards the highway, down the gravel road, because we're at the end of a gravel road, and met a new neighbor, really nice. They're building a house. They've had the land for a while, you know, they kind of just use it as a fun weekend, you know, property they could just go to, you know, shoot some guns, whatever, hang out with the family. Now one of their children is gonna build a house. So that's pretty exciting. And that's about it. Not much else. So until next time, thanks again, and we will, sorry this is such a boring episode, because homesteading in general is pretty boring. It's don't get me wrong, it's great, but it's a lot of, you know, at the end of the day we relax, we don't watch TV, we sit on the screen porch, you know, but we're outside all day. Or Jenny's working, she's working late today. She's got a project going on that instead of being done at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, now she's gonna be done at like 7 o'clock in the evening. So I've got a little bit more evening free time, but yeah, so in reality, there's a lot of slowness on homesteading. I mean, there's a lot of work to be done, but there's still a lot of just relaxing, just boring, you know, like little busy work that I'm constantly doing, but nothing too exciting. So it's the little things that make it enjoyable. But I mean, just being outside as much as I am, so nice. Like, I'm outside more than I'm inside, which is, I think, how everybody should be. But bugs are a little weird lately. A lot of flies and things like that, but nothing as bad as those little skink lizards that are running into the house. That was so I'll keep rambling, so I'm gonna end it there. Thanks again, and until next time. Till next time, bye. Big camera. I'm still waiting for the temperature in my water to be perfect. It's still warming up. I'm gonna end it there. Thanks. Like and subscribe. I gotta support this shirt because it was a gift. I love it. I do. So thanks again.